Hello, my name is Rosanne Moore, and I'm the Executive Director of City of Refuge. We are presently moving our location to be more accessible to the community of Harrison and the surrounding area. And every nonprofit, as in businesses, has a story. And so I'd like to share a little bit with you on City of Refuge, what we do, and how I personally have gotten involved over the years. Everybody in life has a history, has a story, and their story starts as far back as their memory will go. And in working in a recovery ministry at City of Refuge, I found that if people are willing to look at their history as well as their present situation, if we can get them to build a trust and a relationship and a willingness more than anything to look at their lives, then there's great opportunity for people to move forward. We know in this world and in this life, people struggle with different tragedies, different situations, some more than others. We're born into certain situations, but there's hope for everybody that wants to improve their personal life, their family relationships, their businesses and whatnot. But you've got to be willing to take a look at your own life and then act on what you know to be true and good and right and move forward. So City of Refuge, being a nonprofit, is a recovery ministry for those that are struggling with any kind of hurt, habit, or hang-up. It's not necessarily drugs and alcohol, although in our culture here today in America we see that. And so I want to begin, like I shared, with my story. I did not struggle with drugs and alcohol, but I grew up in a wonderful Italian family, and my struggle was self-image and identity because Italians, like many cultures, like to eat and enjoy life and food, but I struggled with anorexic bulimia, which led to depression and suicide. This is way back when I was 19 years old. And through the time of growing up and then discovering really that life does hand you situations, and you can either take that lemon and make lemonade, or take that mess and make it a message, or sit in despair as a victim. I chose to fight and learn and grow and change my life to go down a different road than it was heading. My story's written in this book called Put Your Head On Straight. And the reason I titled it that is all of us have intentions of doing, I believe, what's good and what's right and what's noble, even though we have a basic negative nature, sin nature, if you want to put that on it. But inside, people really want to do what was right. I know I did. And so I had to look honestly at where I was at. I was sitting in a mental institution for 2 weeks at 24 years old, and I knew it's where I did not want to be. And I began to really look at my life and ask those hard questions. And by asking those questions, I learned I had to make mental changes, emotional changes, and physical changes as well. It even included relational changes. You've really got to be willing to change you. You can't always change your circumstances or the people around you, but you can change you. So I began to look at things like my thought patterns, my emotions, who I was hanging around, what I was involved in, looking hard at my past and what negative things had been developed, or things that just unknowingly or unnecessarily just happened that hurt my heart, hurt who I was growing up, and turned me into a different direction. And as I began to peel back the layers, you'll hear people talk about like an onion, peeling back the layers. I began to understand what was really going on in my thought process, as well as my heart, and how my emotions were affected by it. And so by putting my story in a book format, I simply want to show anybody that as an ordinary person, you're going to struggle in this life. All our struggles are different, but that if you will look at these different areas, the mental, the emotional, the physical, and you're willing to take action, then you can change your life. And so the book is divided into 2 sections. One is a story from as early memory as I have up until probably about 5 years ago. And I go through and explain the good experience as well as the bad experiences, and what I really had to do to learn to change the direction. And then the back of the book, which I really love, is a practical application for every one of those areas of your life. A lot of people know they need to change or think they need to change, but they don't know how. So in my book, I decided to put the hows to do that. How do you renew your mind? How do you get control of your emotions? How do you face a fear that's been haunting you over and over again? And so the back of the book explains that. And throughout the years, because I have been relieved of many fears and issues and learned how to become more able and willing to face challenges, that is part of what got me excited to be a part of City of Refuge and the recovery program. We are faith-based. I have a strong faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and in the integrity and accuracy of the Bible. I have applied that in my life. I've applied that in my book. And what we teach at City of Refuge, we don't pick a denomination, we don't discriminate or judge, but we try to take the lifelong, forever lasting practical principles that work for anybody and teach you how to apply them there. Many people that come to City of Refuge, they might be a drug addict or alcoholic, but then again, we have people struggling with suicide, with depression, financial pressures, just broken homes. How do you handle children, single women that are raising children on their own? And these are just some of the issues that if you will stop and set aside some of the craziness in your life and learn to put your head on straight, you can address each one of these issues and have answers. We do that in a practical sense of offering classes that teach you how to do that. We offer support through groups, through one-on-one. We also, in the meantime, if you need assistance, maybe your personal struggle is you've lost your job or your spouse has lost their job, we do have some financial support for folks. We also have support with a food pantry. We try to not only look at the person, but the realm of people they're affecting, be it their family, their friends, or their work, and show them how, if they're willing to take the time to put themselves in the right path, in the right direction, then that will affect everyone around them, and everything becomes more successful. And we never look for perfection. I don't look for it in myself, and I don't look for it in people. What we look for is progress. I learned many years ago that the duration of a problem and the intensity of a problem, if you can see that diminish on a regular basis, then you're growing and you're moving in the right direction. And that's what we're looking for to help people at City of Refuge. So I hope to see you there. If you yourself are not struggling with something that you feel needs that kind of inward attention, then maybe there's somebody in your life, a family member, a friend, a coworker, that you know just seems to be hung up with something. Please feel free to refer them to us. Thank you.